allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any additions or deletions from the agenda, or to the agenda?
Nothing I saw.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking on this. I'm on
We'll get-
minutes.
we'll get
I
there.
read the minutes, I'm sorry, pushing it along.
I guess the only thing I would like to add is a quick executive session at the end.
Yeah, I think we have a couple
Personnel.
topics to go in the executive on.
Yeah.
So, executive. The Clausen property, I think I brought up last time. Jim and Melissa Clausen expressed interest in the property across the street. And they just wanted to go on record that they were interested in buying it. They would be willing to put a clause in the property if they were ever to buy it, that the town could continue to use it for snow in the winter. So I don't know if we want to move forward, potentially in the future, in listing that property and putting that clause in and seeing where it goes. So I mean, just kind of out there for discussion.
I would go ahead with it.
How big of a piece is it?
Isn't that narrow slice? Like
I think it's really,
I
narrow.
was gonna say, I don't even know if it's not a quarter, it's gonna be like an eighth of an acre.
yeah.
I mean, I just think it's more to.
Why does he want to?
I think he parks there in the summertime, and I just think it's also to control who does park there.
I mean, I think it's okay to list it as, if Jason needs it to put snow on it and get that in the deed.
So we just have to have the attorney
Yeah.
write up and that's one of those ones we'd have to go back and figure out how we acquired it and all that.
Yeah. I don't think I did any research on that one.
Alright, so we'll just add to Melissa's list of duties. We'll find, I can work with her on that. Research and attorney. Okay. Recognized guest. John?
Okay, first, there's an old tractor parked in front of the first block. It's been on the street for weeks now on the sidewalk. And the tenants that owned it apparently have left. And
Which block is that?
the first block, Corey Heffron
Oh,
block.
okay.
And there's been several complaints about it.
Is it like a writing pack?
Well, yeah, it's some old thing they put together out of 2-3 different models. And I guess it doesn't run anymore, I don't think.
But are we allowed to just snag that?
Is it on our streets?
Yeah.
Is it on the sidewalk or is
Yes,
it
it's on the
that
sidewalk.
cement piece between the sidewalk and the
Okay.
building? So do we own the cement piece between the sidewalk and the building?
Mr. Heffron claims he owns half that sidewalk. I don't know if he does or not. And, but the right of way for the town on the main street, which is a 4-rod road, is 33.5 feet from the center line, which takes you over into those right into the buildings.
Right, but we can only access the right of way if we need to do something. We can't
Yeah.
take stuff off
But-
if we don't need
But
to
if
do
it's
something.
but if it's
Like
on the
not
sidewalk,
registered.
that's in our.
I would
It's a
consider
safety
that's town
issue.
property.
Huh?
Right,
Yeah.
but is it on the sidewalk or is it on the cement piece between the sidewalk and the building?
Well, it's on the sidewalk because it's a lawn tractor. And this morning Mr. Heffron emailed and asked me how could he get rid of it.
Oh,
Well, if the property owner wants it gone, it might not be. I guess we can just, how do you guys feel about taking possession and leaving it at the town garage? And if somebody says something, we'll hold it for a little while?
Sounds good.
Sounds good to me.
Alright, I'll see Jason.
And has any more discussion been about banning residential parking on Main and River and Troy? Because
We
there's
did,
like a white car that's parked the wrong way too. I haven't seen anybody move it for a long, long time.
we just got the parking ordinances back from the town attorney today. So, like, it was with Northwest Regional Planning, because they said they were gonna look at it, and they kind of dragged their feet. Then they kicked it to VLTC for it, and we never heard from, so finally we just said, let's go with the town attorney, and today was the day we just got it back, so hopefully they got comments on the thing, we'll look at those and.
So Outland Donegan had asked that we ask the board tonight if they would consider putting a 2-hour parking on the
Main
the
Street?
spots on Main Street in our parking ordinance, because I had said that we're working on it.
Yeah, I don't know if we want, like, I guess I'll have to look at what we did. I know we said no overnight parking, and we made that, but I don't, like, I think it'd be hard to enforce during the day, people working, whatever. I don't know that I want to enforce during the day necessarily.
As long as there's no overnight where the vehicles being moved daily, I would think.
Yeah, I'll have to
They
check
have
out.
to be registered, they have to be insured.
Yeah,
they
that's
have to
all
be
it-
inspected.
Yeah, that's all in there, I know that.
And most of these cars that park, they aren't registered or they aren't inspected or anything.
No,
No.
they're parked the wrong way.
Yeah, it's parked wrong, and that's dangerous.
Yeah, the dump trailer was very nice for the parade.
Yeah,
Well, and
Jeremy was upset about that. He
I don't know,
said
like,
he
I
saw
guess
pictures on
if we were
Facebook.
really doing a nice parade, we would put up notices, no park, and have them move it. I mean, well, half of the people on the upper end of the street couldn't see anything anyway if they wanted to. Because they would have to put themselves actually in the street to see the parade, because those full cars from the bank all the way straight up through. Anything else, John?
Yeah, could we do a little better job of cleaning up the sand, and especially at corner of Powell and Main, the water rushes down there, and the sidewalk in front of the, Main Street Mill is all covered with sand. It's hard for us old people to walk on it. And River Street is real dirty too. Awful lot of gravel and stuff in the street. I think it would help us all if we could clean it up a
Yeah,
little bit
it looks better
better.
too. It looks a lot better that way.
Gravel. Okay. That it?
That's it, thank you.
Marina?
Okay, I'm here about the generator, the town generator is on our town property, on our property line.
Mm-hmm.
I had talked to you about replacing the shrubs that got ruined.
Mm-hmm.
We agreed on 6-foot shrubs.
I think we agreed to replace them.
No, we agreed on 6-foot shrubs, I believe.
Wow, my memory's different than yours at that.
Because you said when I talked to you, you called 3 places and you couldn't find any.
I found shrubs that, yeah, I mean, I don't remember saying anything about 6 foot, but I found shrubs
I
that need to
said,
be.
why are the shrubs on my property only 3 feet tall? They were put there without my permission. No one even told me you were putting them there. And then I said they were supposed to be 6 feet, and you said I called 3 places and I couldn't find any. Or I had someone called 3 places and you couldn't find any.
Right, so we
So,
went with the next thing.
but I called 1 place and I found them,
Where was that?
H&B. They had 2 in stock and they can order whatever you need. I mean, that's the agreement, why that generator's on our line.
I feel the town has done enough.
It's gonna take 5 years for those to grow to reach the height of the fence.
They
So we
didn't,
have to look at an eyesore.
I know, but the trees could have stayed. I
They
mean,
could have stayed, they were chopped right down to the tree. They took a chainsaw to them.
I don't know, I mean, we replaced, 6 was 9. Yes, they're gonna grow 18 inches a year. I
Okay,
mean,
but that wasn't the agreement. We had Donald Noyce look at them,
Uh-huh.
and he agreed that we should put at least a 6-foot shrub there. And you agreed with that. And then when I talked to you, you said you called 3 places and you couldn't find any. So I said, well, I'll call H&B for the heck of it. So I have the message if you want to see it. So I messaged them, they go, well, we have 2 in stock and we can order more if needed. So 1 phone call and I found some.
well, I don't know what to tell you, I think we've done all we need to do.
Really? So you're not gonna stand to the agreement that the select board made with us, so you wouldn't have to move the generator?
That was before my time, and I think we've honored it. We've bent over backwards, like,
You bent over
we
backwards.
trimmed them when you wanted. Yes, they probably were trimmed more than they should have been.
They were ruined. We even had a
They-
landscaper look at them.
They're not,
They were ruined.
they were not gonna die.
They were going to die. He said they won't grow back. You cut all the branches off. If you would have just hired a landscaper to trim them to begin with, we wouldn't be sitting
Well, you know
here doing
what?
this.
That was gonna be my recommendation to the board. In the future, when it
Or
comes time,
it's gonna be a few years where they need trimming.
well, there's still some on the other end we didn't touch, after my conversation with Carl, he said those were sufficient.
If they don't die.
They're not gonna die.
Okay.
The dead branches, when I was there with Carl that day, the dead branches that were there were the tops that were cut off, they just got left up there. We pulled 3 or 4 off. That was the only dead stuff on those trees. I would, like I was saying, my recommendation in the future is you guys get a quote, bring it to the board.
That shouldn't be our responsibility.
Well-
Part of the agreement is you take care of the shrubs because your generator's on our property line.
Right, but I don't know how, now this is my personal opinion. I don't know, no matter what we would have done there, it was not gonna be to your satisfaction.
No, that's not true. I worked with you. I agreed to keep the stumps there because it was gonna take out the bank and you didn't wanna repair the bank. I agreed to keep the stumps there. I
The repairing of the banks was to your benefit, not ours.
It's my property. If you would have ruined it, you would have had to fix it.
Well, yeah, and then you would have been upset about the bank being ruined. I mean, if we would have ripped those stumps out, we would have disturbed all that soil going down probably 4 feet down the bank, and then you would have been an even bigger mess and even more unhappy.
But that's not my responsibility because it's your responsibility to have shrubs there because we agreed to keep the generator there. We could actually go to a lawyer and see if we could get it moved. That would cost even more. But we're trying to work out an agreement so it doesn't come to that.
Well, I feel we've put shrubs back. I'm sorry they're not to the height that you wanted. They'll grow 18 inches.
Do you want to see a picture? This is what we're looking at.
What does the rest of the board feel like?
This is what we're looking at for shrubs. I measured them, they're 3 feet tall. Do you know how long it's gonna take? We get to look at the generator because the shrubs are 3 feet tall. It's gonna take at least 5 years for them to grow.
I don't know what to tell you, Marie.
I feel you told me you were doing 6-foot shrubs because when I called you, you said you called 3 places and you could not find any. So now you're telling me you didn't tell me that?
I don't think I said it. I don't think I
I
specified.
called you last Thursday and you told me that. I wish I would have recorded it because you. Oh my
I guess
goodness.
I wish you would have too.
Because you go, we called 3 places and we could not find 6 feet shrubs. That's exactly what you told me. And then instead of coming to us and telling us you're gonna go with 3-foot shrubs because you knew that we wouldn't agree with that, you just had someone come and plant them.
Who was going to plant them otherwise?
You told me the town boys weren't planting them. They were just gonna take them out.
No, I didn't.
Wow.
I think there's some distortion going on here.
No, I remember
I never said the
exactly
town
what
wasn't
you-
going to plant. The
you-
town wasn't going to plant them back.
Oh my goodness. Wow. And you wonder why Richford runs the way it runs? You told me these things.
Well,
You told me these things, because right after I got off the phone with you, I messaged H&B, I said, well, I'll see if they have some. And they did.
okay. I think we've put more back than we're there.
Okay, maybe we need some legal advice on this.
Well, then feel free to seek it.
Wow, you did say those things, Wally. Can't be your memory's very good.
Rowena, sorry.
That's all right. I have several things, starting off with, where are the updated minutes posted? Because I couldn't find, I was looking on the website, couldn't find the agenda for today's meeting, and I was looking then for the updated minutes from June 3rd, and I couldn't see them there either. And I may have just been looking in the wrong place. But
I think they were out of sorts because I was looking for some minutes from last year and Marissa had said, oh, I need to fix that because I think that they were out of sync.
Okay, for those, okay.
Yeah.
And then just for whatever reason, the agenda didn't get posted? 'Cause
That I don't know, I'm not sure.
Yeah, because I could not see that one on there. Okay. Then the electronic sign out here looked really good, was very outstanding. You saw it and I noticed it right away. the closure for Gilmet Road, and I like that it was posted several days in advance. And so, you know, people would see it. I think that's a really good use of the sign.
And I know I haven't been to the meetings, but I did hear, you know, there was some confusion. We do have an electronic sign policy that we hand out to folks. So any agency or any nonprofit or any group within the town that wants to post something on the sign, we have a sign out form for that, and it should be posted on the website, and if it is not, it will be.
Okay.
But there is a procedure for that, just so you're aware.
Could that also be posted on the sign?
It can be.
I think that would be good, because I didn't see it on the website. And if people don't know that there's a policy, they're not gonna use that sign
When
as
we
well.
first installed the sign, we originally put one out there. It said, please contact the town for how to post on the sign. Obviously, we don't want businesses advertising their business on
Right.
the sign, but,
Right.
you know, community events or things happening, you know, in the parks or the libraries, especially in the summertime.
Right,
It's like a community calendar, except people are supposed to request it to be put on there.
so I think maybe putting that out there, kind of, hey guys, this is out here.
Sure, we can put it back on
Let's
there.
do it, I think it would be good. And like I said, with that road closure, very good selection of colors and stuff, it really stood out, and I like that. We kind of touched before the meeting, some of this on the parade and everything, and how people were, it didn't work as well as we thought with the route and everything, and people, there were people, at the Missisquoi Manor, people didn't even see the parade because they didn't know. I had a family group that was sitting out there waiting. I said, oh, sorry, you need to walk down by the church, and they did. And so there's some disconsent. The select board, if they choose to do so, they did this back when the beginning of COVID, they could just cancel the parade. If you don't feel that you can get a parade committee together, I mean, it seemed that there were a few more people in the parade. It was a little bit longer than was, but it still wasn't a lot. We didn't have people on the street who were like, where's the bands? You know, where's the you know. So if you don't think it's gonna work and it's just kind of faltering and it's taking up people's time, I believe the select board has the right to say no
Well, I
parade.
think we said that in several meetings, and I think there was a couple people really pushing it to happen, and so it happened, and again, I feel like it was, you know, not well managed as far as, you know, the streets and the closure of, you know, people coming and going, but we did, and I said it, 3 board meetings, like, if people don't step up, we're canceling, and so there was couple of individuals that really pushed that and stated there was going to be enough coverage, and so we went forward with it. But I agree. I
Yeah.
think that
So this,
the
Next spring,
future.
when it comes time around, if
It's
there's,
not
if there-
the spring though, it should start, you know,
Like, I know.
from my understanding, they
It used to
started
start-
planning it in February.
yeah,
Right.
that's what I mean, that time, if there's nobody that's gonna take it over and do it, then I think we
And
can.
it's like you said, it's really not the select board's
Right. It's not the select board's
responsibility to do it.
so, couple of timelines. On the Main Street Park, really nice to see you have new garbage cans in there. Nice to see if there would be garbage bags that went with the garbage can.
I
And,
talked to John, and he said they don't need bags in the
oh,
garbage bags. And
he's fine with.
It's
with
too
the-
much to
yeah.
manage, I think, because they don't take their time. It's too much to have to change, I think, out the bags, so I think that they prefer not to
Yeah.
use them.
I
Okay,
did talk to John, he said that
Okay.
they've never used bags, and, you know, the other comment John made when I was, you know, because the baseball park down there had a lot of garbage overflowing, and I talked to him about that, and, you know, I didn't realize that they do the parks garbage they never bill us for the parks garbage, so
They've always done it.
it's just a courtesy, but,
Mhm.
you know, so that's why I think, like, like people in the town coming forth and saying, like, hey, this needs to get emptied, like, it's because it's frustrating to John because he's doing it out of the kindness of his heart, and that, you know, people jumping all over him because there's garbage. It's just a phone call. It's just, hey, John, garbage is overflowing at one of these just let him know and he'll be glad to go pick it up. But he did tell me when I kind of was like, oh, you know, there's some garbage cans overflowing. He was like, you know what? I do this as, you know, for the town. I never charge you guys, and I get to it, and when I get to it, and, you know, so, I mean, if that's something we want to talk about to change, that we do pay him for it, and then there's more accountability, I don't know, but he did definitely say no bags.
When are the doggy bags gonna show up in the Main Street Park?
I thought, we were gonna ask Thomas to run up and do it.
Marissa was gonna talk to Thomas about
I've
it.
kind of been out, so I
So,
had something to
Marissa,
mention. I
I
don't
look
know.
that way because
We
Marissa's
just
usually
redid,
sitting there.
Thomas's like job duties as the maintenance, and one of the job duties we added to that was the doggy bag.
Right.
So I don't know
And we
if,
haven't physically sat down, we're gonna be doing that next week to go over all the job description, the check sheets, time sheets.
so that is on the check sheet now, the
Okay.
doggy bags.
Yes.
Let's see, the Eagle in Davis Park, is there a timeline when they're gonna get the Eagle cleaned up, get his head nice and shiny and white again?
Brandon said it probably should be resealed again too, so I saw him at the store a couple of weeks ago, and he said.
I could follow up with that.
Because this, unfortunately, this is the time we need to be doing it, you know, for the thing. The other thing, we had the, what is it, Paddle and Pedal Fest. I noticed they had people out at intersections and stuff with slowing down for traffic, and that other towns have, and I don't think this is a responsibility of the town to put these signs out, but maybe the town wants to require them, is I've seen where they have races like this, and there are signs along the way that say race in progress, you know, bicycle race in progress, or foot race in progress, just to kind of give the drivers a heads up, you've got something going on. I mean, it's great to have the flaggers at certain intersections and doing traffic, but just the other step to make awareness. And maybe that's something that when these groups come in, because they have to ask the select board for permission to use Davis Park, you just say, fine with that, but we expect you to put these signs out, maybe give them a heads up.
I can talk to her about signage.
I just think it would be safer, because I don't know who would be responsible when something happened with Lennon. Then, cameras updates. I know you talked a few weeks ago about the cameras you're gonna be talking about. Is there any update or on that?
So I have received Arky and myself and File Security. Arky got the quotes going, and then he sent them to me, and I was able to have a conversation. Again, I was on vacation, so I was able to have a conversation with him, and it sounds like with what we want to do, we do have to come up with a strategic way to place them, because they all have to be in the line of sight of each other to communicate with the box. And apparently some of the boxes that we have now would operate on a different software than potentially the new one that we would have to purchase. So I think the next conversation needs to be, I need to have them adjust the quotes a little bit to reflect maybe an upgrade so everything is on the same software.
Is there a possibility of getting
The other-
series of cameras that would not need to be lined up?
No, so I talked to him too, because I'm not a techie person,
Mhm.
so he explained it very well, and they do need to communicate or they have to be hardwired, and we don't have the capability to hardwire them.
Okay.
The other thing is gonna be positioning of the camera. We may have to add some sort of a post. Has to be on its own, we can't just use a telephone pole. So there would have to be something like in Main Street Park to mount it on, which, you know, I don't know how expensive we wanna get with that.
You mean to have the camera on it?
Correct. And then, there's a couple other areas where we wanted to add cameras that we would have to do the same thing.
I mean, you could also talk with the Catholic Church about, you know, I think there's probably other ways.
Right, so it's a conversation we still need to have before I think they commit to purchasing it.
Well, it's good, I'm glad that there is progress.
Yes,
That's
Slowly going.
Then, one other thing I have not seen on the website and I've asked about is the Declaration of Inclusion, which the board approved back on the 21st of February.
It is,
It is on, where,
I saw it this morning.
okay, so then I'm just totally blind. Thank you, glad to hear that. And then the ARPA, is there any updates on meetings for the ARPA money?
Nothing to say yet.
I think we need to schedule one, but now that I'm available,
Yes.
and yes, hopefully.
Okay. Terrific, thank you.
All right. Approval of the 7-1
Is there
meeting.
anybody online? No. Sorry.
That's good thought. No.
I'll
Approval,
make a motion to approve the minutes.
have a second?
Abstain.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Alright. Motion passes. Highway report. Well, as you can tell, I had the highway crew planting shrubs. The park and ride is pretty much set to go. Jason said they would grade and smooth it up one more time before they pave it, but they don't want to finalize it because people are going to turn and spin and do whatever. Then as Rowena said, the Gilmet Road is that new culvert was put in today. They're almost done. They just got few more loads of dirt and grading to finish that project in the morning. They're still doing roadsides. They were on my road today. Some grading from we survived the rain last week pretty good. Just some, the typical dirt road washing, but nothing horrible. Other than that, just mini projects here and there. Buildings report?
They're putting in the floor at the post office as we speak. They're working on that. Next, I'm thinking Tuesday, Wednesday, they're slower days. They're gonna be putting in the rear door to the post office. And the basement door will be going in the end of this week, beginning of next week. There is an issue with the garage door down to the fire station. I will be making a phone call on that, to have them come and look at it. Besides that, the window at the fire station's been replaced and repaired. We're looking good. Haven't heard nothing back about the deeding yet. For this building, from the engineer, still waiting on that. We're good.
Water and sewer?
Did everybody have a chance to look at the revised water system rules and regs? I got yours, Wally.
Yeah.
Any other comments from anyone else?
I'd like to quickly go through it one more time.
Okay.
If that's okay.
The only other thing I had was our meeting in
Yeah, we had a meeting.
Troy Street.
Yeah, on Troy Street. Justin Holmes is an engineer for the owners of the trailer park, and I don't remember their names now, but they're looking to use some sort of funding, government funding, ARPA or something to that line to update the water and sewer down in the park. And that's going to require us, because we're supplying the sewer and the water to them, to sign off on the permit.
But it's not going to require any money from us.
No, as far as we know, it's not.
And it's probably a good thing, those are old lines.
And there's comments made that, it's leaking lines, so it will take care of any, water that's being lost.
That's why we put those meter pits in, so then we could account for all the water flowing
Yeah.
to the trailer park.
Yeah.
But for
So-
him to regulate it, it makes sense for him to upgrade it.
And there's been a complaint around town, a smell of the sewer system.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy's currently working on that. It's an issue with the balance of the oxygen within the lagoon. He believes something's being added, or someone's flushing something down the sewer system to offset that balance. He's working with the state right now to bring it back in. So,
I didn't have anything else.
Town administrator update?
Parks and Playground.
Huh?
Parks and Playground.
Oh, I'm sorry, Parks and Playground.
Just curious, I asked following this, before the parade, who is responsible for the fence at the ballpark?
So
that us?
I have a bunch of stuff that I want to talk
Oh,
about
okay,
with
perfect.
the ballparks.
Okay.
So we have had a string of vandalism down there once again. Someone drove their car through the baseball fence.
Yep.
This is the second time, I think, that they did it on the Little League side as well. I had Slim go down and see if it's something that they could replace when they had a free minute. He said that they're gonna need 10 new posts. I play women's league softball, and I was down there with some of the girls one of their first games, and there's a lot of, I think, I don't want to speculate, but there's a lot of maybe drug activity down there. They hide out over in the corner. They're not respecting it. They're tearing it up. They're blowing donuts. They're racing up and down the hill. And there's kids that are using the sidewalks and are, you know, they go down there to play in the evenings. I want to ask the board if we can just shut it down for a month, make a statement. It's very hidden down there and people are getting away with a lot of stuff. I'd like to give the women's league a key, the men's softball league who's playing on Sundays a key. I do believe Hershey's is all set right there. They've got all their planting in, so I don't think that they need anything right now, but if they do, I'd give them a key and just make a bold statement. If we don't have sheriffs or anyone else patrolling down there.
And your other suggestion was cutting all the brush on the bank.
So I wanted to show you what the Richford Rec has been working on in terms of their planning grant that they secured. We have a map of our walking trail system that we had designed. So if you hold it upright.
You guys want to sneak over? Oh, you gotta hold it upright?
So if you hold it upright, all this black is the actual network of walking trails,
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
okay? And it's called the Richford Reconnect Project, and it's supposed to, one of the main emphasis is connecting the elementary school with town and the ball field with the rest of town. I spend a lot of time at the ball fields, coaching softball, and there's a lot of really great residents who walk their dogs down there every night, and connecting that part of town without having to drive to it with the rest of town, I think would be really beneficial. And so this is the design that we came up with our engineering study. They did a wetland delineation, which is the shadow in blue, and that's like sewer plant road and everything left of that. They spent a lot of time working on that because we're not really allowed to disturb wetlands. So, but where we want to put the trail, there's a lot of options to avoid them. So we won't have that as a hurdle. But over by the ball fields, the trail goes behind the Little League field and then behind the basketball court. And we actually own up until where Jody and Mandy Gilman's property is on Intervale Avenue, up until that point. Part of the project was to put in this covered stairway, opening up options for people to access the playground on that side of the hill. It's actually one of my favorite parts of the project. We saw this footbridge is in Island Pond. So
That's
it
very
would be
cool.
very similar to that, and we want to cover it so then it's maintained and whether it's secure the elements. So we met with, and I know the playground has been surveyed, so that is definitely the town's property. Slim, myself, Marissa, Dan Seeley, and Alton Dunnican met out there the other day. They're very excited and they would like to start this project with this bridge, this stairway. And so Dan has ideas of grants he wants to apply for to get this thing going. And we met out there to kind of lay it out and see what the landscape actually was. And Slim is confident he can put a trail up through there to the top of the street. And my question to the select board is, knowing that we have vandalism and it's a really beautiful part of Richford that's underutilized in my opinion, if we can take that bank and kind of clear it off and open it up so all the houses on Intervale Avenue can see down through to the ball fields. And it might help deter people from going and parking there overnight, essentially.
Well, I definitely agree we should lock that gate. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. I mean, like I said, I was down there the day after that they ran the fence over, and I was like, but there's just no way.
I mean,
to
they're
stop
going down
it.
there with unregistered vehicles, they're sleeping in their cars, people are finding drug paraphernalia. I mean, they're taking the garbage cans and there's, you know.
Yeah, it was everywhere. The garbage was.
I just think like if we make a bold statement, yeah, we'll open it back up when people can respect it. But then the people that are using it, maybe give them a key or give them access in the meantime.
It's not, I mean, they still have the ability to walk there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be my only.
Should we, my only reservation about that is, are people gonna park then at the gate, and is that gonna annoy the houses right there?
If they do, they can call someone. Or they can just walk out and let them.
I mean,
No, but
there's
I'm
always
saying,
gonna
like,
be a what if, and
yeah.
there's always gonna be, I mean, the
Think we have to try it.
potential for that is there. They're probably gonna try to ram the gate, for all I know, you know? That was another thing we had quoted, an electronic gate, so it
Right.
could be on a timer. It's very difficult to find someone.
I don't know.
The town guys, Monday through Thursday or Monday through Friday, could open it in the morning, but who's gonna close it at night? And finding that person.
Why can't they close it before shift and just, you know,
At
gates
4.
close at 4? Simple sign,
Wow.
put it on the pole.
That, I mean, that's really when the issues are starting, it's after school. I was down there every day after school and it was just, I mean, I had to contact the sheriffs because they had people just lurking in the woods that
Right.
were not stable and it was, you know, it was scary, but the cars that were down there are not registered and they're sleeping in them. So,
Is this an area that you're targeting with cameras possibly?
potentially, yes, yep. The one that's going to be fixed really focuses on the road down through there, so you can at least see the vehicles, but
A dog park would be really cool.
that's actually part of this project.
Is
So,
that what this is here?
by, yeah,
The fencing?
so there's two options. There was an option to put a small one over here behind the Little League field. And then there was an option, this is the 10-acre meadow that is currently being paved.
Yeah.
And so the trail kind of goes around along the river.
Mm-hmm. That's
of that
beautiful down
meadow.
there. The river's beautiful down there.
But taking like a portion of the edge of it and turning it into a dog park too is part of
That would be really cool.
an
Do we wanna
option.
put it that far out of town though?
What?
The dog park, or would it be better to put it
Oh,
close?
but if you look at it, you can access it right from the softball field. So the idea is people come down there and park their car anyway and walk the dog.
Yeah.
So you could walk through there to the dog park. And the best part of this project is it can be implemented in stages. It doesn't have to all be done at once. And there's a lot of traction and excitement about it. Jessica Boone reached out. She wants to apply for some funding for part of the trail. I just think all of these funding sources, I mean, in the beginning are gonna make us more competitive for maybe some of the bigger stuff we go after.
One other question, I brought it up when they had the public meeting on this. I do support this, but the thing is you get a really nice trails and this all set up, and you get it done with grant money, and then where do you go from there? Is the board willing to kind of put aside a little fund to maintain this. That's the big thing.
Well, I think that the recreation department would, I mean, we've done fundraisers, right? So
Mhm.
I think, you know, part of that could be to maintain. Conservation and the high school, the track team is super excited about this because then they would have a place to run outside of the streets. And where they're
Which is
running
good.
right now, they run to the country club and they have good routes, but this would give them another, or cross country, it would just give them another option, right? And
Right,
so conservation had mentioned, you know, their first idea was green up day. The whole school, all the kids, we go through, we walk the trail, see what needs to be done and pick up garbage along the way. I think it's a great idea.
but I think
That's
you
a great
need,
idea.
trees grow during the summertime and stuff, and so hitting it, and green up day is fantastic. But your trees are gonna be
Spring and
growing
fall.
throughout the summer, so you need to have at least once a month, I would say, to go down and maybe do some touch-up mowing, maybe some tree trimming or something like that. It's not a 1 or 2 days.
I'm not sure you would need to mow just because of where we're gonna put this, and a lot of these trails are pre-existing anyway, so it'll be patching the foundation that's already there.
Yeah. But
the idea-
your trees grow in and stuff, so.
I think it'll be okay. The Conservation Commission seemed very excited about
Oh,
it
yeah,
as well,
they'll maintain
and I'm sure they'll help keep eyes on it.
I've seen some of the projects that they do a great job of putting it in and then they walk away. And so, I mean, you had a beautiful heart trail that was put in the late 80s. You can't even find it now because of the trees have grown in. And it's right in that same area.
But that was almost 50 years ago.
But it was within 10 years after it that you couldn't find it because it had grown in. Nobody maintained it.
Okay.
So,
I think between the school, the conservation, the rec club, I think.
The track
it would-
team.
The track team, I think it would be maintained.
I mean, there's always gonna be room for improvement, there's always gonna be inefficiencies, things that we can work on, but if we don't build it, we're never gonna have anything.
I agree.
So what do you need of us right now? You want?
I want permission to, first of all, permission to
To
start
walk the
the
gate.
project with the stairway, clean the trail, cause it is town land. And then I want permission to, or I want the thoughts on the select board of cleaning the bank off behind the Little League field left. Not right, not behind the baseball field on the right side, cause those are gonna be, we have like a story walk where conservation is gonna put some,
They've done that. They've cleaned that bank off a few times in my lifetime.
I'm
So I
gonna
don't.
say, I remember.
Yeah, so it seems like we can get away with it.
So the only thing I'm thinking is, yeah, I'm all for cleaning it up so you can see down. The only thing is, what are we gonna put there or do for some sort of erosion control?
so Alden
just
was
talked
there
about
and
that.
Dan was there and they just said, you know, leave the stumps.
Okay.
It's gonna hold the bank in place, they're gonna have new
Then grass will
growth.
grow or shrubs will
Right.
grow again.
Okay.
Brush.
They didn't foresee it being a huge issue, they seemed
Okay.
pretty good with it.
I'd make a motion to go
My
ahead with
only
this.
suggestion would be though, before we do it, we let the people on Intervale Avenue know we're doing it and give them an opportunity to object if they're going to before we do it.
So maybe we should send out letters, say, hey, this is
Yeah.
what our intent is there any objections?
Yeah.
And we'll make it a fall project for the town guys. Or do you want, I mean, we don't,
So the talk was, you know, maybe we just do a little bit at a time, because they talked about getting, it's scrub brush anyway, so getting a chipper in there and chipping the wood that is there, because it's not worth much.
Put it right back on the ground.
So what, my question is not that we wouldn't wanna notify Intervale Avenue, but what kind of hurdles do you foresee in that?
I don't think anybody's gonna
I
object.
don't think anybody's gonna object either because it's gonna clean it up and that's
Well,
what
it's
a lot
gonna
of people
improve
on
their
that
view.
Yeah, I was
side.
gonna say, it will improve their view.
They can't
Right.
see the river, they can't see any of that right
Yeah,
now.
right.
And
I would be for that if I was living on that
Yeah,
street.
I don't think you have any.
But I think it does affect them. I think we owe it to
Yeah.
them to let them
I agree.
know what's happening.
Out of courtesy
Yep.
and respect.
Yep.
Okay. And then what are your thoughts on shutting the gate for a couple of weeks? Try it for a week, 2 weeks,
I'll do it for a month.
or a month.
I'm with it, I'd second that.
I don't think we need a motion, we just give you permission to go.
Okay.
I say,
Good.
if
Thank you.
nobody else on board objects.
How many fees are there for that?
I mean, we can give you one for ambulance, fire, whatever. We'll make sure the people that need the keys have the keys.
I did ask Jason to put send somebody down at weed whacker or brush cut around all those Connex boxes.
I was gonna ask you if you do that, thank you.
I don't know if it's been done, I'll remind him if it hasn't been. When I was down there for the parade, it was getting pretty jungly.
They're gonna use for weed whacker, because we're gonna get rid of those in that Connex box.
We can ask him.
This is exciting.
I think it is too.
Alrighty, is that it for town administrator stuff? We do have this to sign.
Town administrator.
Well, I figured Marissa might have sent you. Since
She
Marissa's
had,
wasn't.
Richard Flint stopped in the other day,
Oh,
if you noticed there was a notice outside the town. They're trying to keep Franklin County Field Days,
Oh, yeah.
where it is, and he's the chair of the select board for Highgate. And so he's asking Richford to, put their sign somewhere in town and also, submit a letter of support to the governor, trying to keep Franklin County Field Days.
Where do they think it might go? They just don't know.
From this letter, and I wasn't able to speak with them myself, but it sounds like that they've investigated numerous avenues and just haven't had any luck with the size and.
Yeah, I heard that
I
too.
think they've already put thousands of dollars into that property. So, yeah, that's what it says in the letter. Yeah. They I think, it sounds like they want to purchase that land.
That is the impression I got. Like I said, I wasn't able to talk with Mr. Flint, but this letter just states that they are looking for a letter of support written to the governor. I mean, we all have people that are associated with Franklin County Field Days in one way, shape, or form,
Yeah.
so it kind of affects everyone.
I'm all for supporting that.
So we'll have Marissa author just a quick letter,
Yeah,
and I can come in and sign it. Or
okay. And I,
we have the 50 Farrar Street. It's just, it's the realtor agreement. They want us all to sign it. So we've already voted, motion to sell it, so this is just formalizing the agreement with the real estate agent. The only thing I'm not sure, Kylie, is who are we putting on this first page? They got signature blocks. It says print the name of the consumer, print the name of the, I guess it's just Town of Richford, I guess. It says who makes the signature of the consumer. That would just be me.
it would be the chair of the select board.
And there's a bike trail down here too.
So the sidewalk scoping study to the elementary school is a separate planning grant that we are working on, but almost, it's simultaneous. So
Yeah.
it's two totally different projects with two
Right.
totally different engineers on the project with
Working
some similar
together.
goals. Yes.
Okay. But I believe behind where the kids' play sets are, I believe if you walk up into there and then head off to the right, there's actually a bike trail with jumps and stuff like that. Maybe we could bring that back at the same point.
Oh, you're talking down at the ball field.
Yeah.
There are kids that actually use it, yes, because the John Drills installed that years ago.
Yeah.
So
If
this
we can
doesn't
get
go
this-
through it, it goes by
Right,
it,
right, by
around
it,
the
yeah.
back of it,
This
and then
one's
the
just
I'm
front of
saying,
it.
if we're
Initials and
working on all
couple
this and
signatures
working on that, it'd be really nice to bring that back to life too, and then have the whole thing, and then do a grand, everything open and ready to go for all types of kids.
I think
don't
if
know
the
if it'll work.
interest is there, I know, back when it was installed, those kids weren't in school anymore.
Right, exactly.
And so, I think over the years, I don't know if it faded out or
I'm thinking
how that
it
went
did,
down.
the fade out thing, because the kids that were involved in it and it didn't get maintained, so maybe if we can kind of add it into the whole parks and playgrounds and rec and get everything all combined, we would draw more interest too. We'd just be covering more bases. Just a thought.
Other business? There's no other business, we have executive, and do we envision anything coming out of that? That would,
I don't know.
all right, I'll make a motion, we go into executive.